to the Josh Johnson Show. I'm Josh Johnson, joined by my co-host, fellow stand-up comedian Logan Nielsen. Logan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay, man. How are you?
I'm fine. You know, it's like it's a pretty okay couple of weeks and stuff. Like I really can't complain. I'm finding though that I like living in New York. Mm-hmm. Not always in love with it, but I think that I understand old New Yorkers now, because the things that I've seen since I've been here, it's like at a certain point it does become too much, where you're not even like enjoying that there's a story there. You're genuinely like, no one should see this much, you know?
Yeah. No, I know what you mean by that. I definitely know what you mean by that.
Because I like to take walks. I like to just go and take a long walk and think, or try to get out of my head, or, you know, just a long walk. And I remember one time I walked from, I don't remember where I was in the city, but I walked to Brooklyn. Like I walked home, you know? Yeah. Which took hours. Like this was like a 3-4 hour walk that I was on. Mm-hmm. And some of it I was listening to a podcast. Some of it I wasn't. Some of it I was just like taking the day in and stuff, you know. It was a nice enough day. And I don't know, at a certain point you get to a place where it's good to be present, but sometimes you don't want to be present where you are. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you're like, man, sure, it's good that I'm like in the moment, but this isn't a good moment.
That was like a vaguely nihilist Hallmark card you just had there. It's always good to be present, but sometimes you don't want to be present where you are.
Look, if you are the best example.
No, I get exactly what you mean. It's just I would like that. I think we should start making cards that are just very neutral like that.
Hey, it was
because it's not even pessimistic. It's not even bad, really. It's just kind of like, eh.
It's just there are some times where you only want to be so aware, because awareness is like anything. It's like, I even think, you know, this goes against any Zen teaching, but I think even awareness should be in moderation. Like I don't think that it's healthy to just be locked in all the time. And I realize your life is, you know, you only get one and you only have the time that you have, and we don't know how much we have. But to be fully locked in, especially if you're not in a good place that day, you know?
Yeah, it's real easy to just then to go like, what's the point of any of it just because you're having a shitty day? I do that all the time. Are you kidding me?
But like,
I will go from having an amazing day and being like, you know what, I'm really lucky to have the life I have, and the next day then I'll just be, and it's not even like a depression thing, but it's just like nothing matters. Why do I care about anything?
I went on this walk, and I at one point I sat down. I think I may have been at Meatball Shop, but I wanted to just get something to eat, and something I know I would like. Like I was not feeling adventurous this day. I think I may have even been in a bad mood. Like I think easily I could have been in a bad mood. Anyway, I'm sitting outside taking the day in, and I don't even like eating outside. You know I hate it. I hate eating outside so much. You are a slave. You are at the mercy of the elements, and the people that love this is just it's too much for me. The fact that when
it's like camping, you know.
Yeah,
that's why people like it.
Oh God. Anyone who loves eating outside has not had enough stuff happen outside. Like legitimately, you're at the mercy of whatever passes by, whether that be dirty wind or like, you know, a car really fling some sludge onto the sidewalk. You're on the sidewalk. There's no dining out in New York. There's only a couple of beer gardens in the entirety of New York. So if you're eating outside, you're eating on the sidewalk.
You're on the street. You're at the mercy of the streets of New York.
This place was busy, so I had to eat outside. And for whatever reason, that day it was nice enough I didn't mind it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like being present. I'm locked into the fact that like the sunlight is hitting everything in a really beautiful way. There's like a brisk breeze, but it's not consistent, and it's not chilly, and it's just enough. Like the temperature is just enough that you don't even feel like you're outside. You know that perfect temp that's like it almost like it. I know it's not, because we would be boiling, but it feels like it matches your body temperature, because you just, even though you're outside, you feel like there's no weather, because it's just such a comfortable temperature. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know, but I've rarely been comfortable outside. I'm a large, sweaty man. I don't know.
I feel like we talked about this one time while we were walking, maybe when we were doing the Colorado shows, and it was so nice out that we were like, oh, it feels.
I think that's because that's an air quality we're not used to. You know, higher elevation, stuff like that. So it felt perfect. You get less of that, I don't know, heavy air.
That could be it. Like, my thing is, basically, I said all this to say, I was taking in the moment. It was a beautiful moment, and it was broken by a couple that, like, sadly wasn't breaking up. This just seemed to be one of their fights that they were having. And they're at the table behind me, and it's just, you can tell they've been whispering for a while, and now they're too pissed to whisper. And so it's just him being like, who even are you? Who even are you?
Yes.
And I'm like,
yes.
Not today.
Were they at one of the other tables?
Yeah.
Or were they just happened to be
they're at the table behind
That's
me.
even better. That's even better.
So they're outside. And the worst part is that the entire inside is packed, but the outside is just me and them.
Oh, okay. So you're a third wheel to this
This entire restaurant is too packed for me to even sit at the bar.
Right.
But then outside is empty. It's just me and them.
Yeah.
And it's like it was it's just too much. You know, like that, because they're not even having like a nasty fight. Their fight is barely interesting, right? At one point, the guy he says something to her, and now they're talking at the level that I'm talking right now. So not loud, but just talking, just not whispering anymore. They're both too angry, to like, you know, worry about company. And
their guest, Josh.
And basically, out of nowhere, she's like, I don't even want to talk about this right now. You're embarrassing me. And he's like, in front of who?
Ouch. Burn. That's a dig at you.
Well, he doesn't see me. He's like back to back with me. He's like, in front of who? We're outside. All right. Am I embarrassing you in front of New York?
Yeah.
And
she goes, you're embarrassing me in front of podcast and television's Josh Johnson. What a great way to meet a fan. That'd be the best.
It was horrible. And then they managed to eat. So I guess they must have got there like 5 minutes before I got there, because they stopped fighting in time enough to order, then started fighting again. Then they stopped fighting for the little while that they were eating, and then started fighting again until the bill came. And it was like
That's too calm. That's too calm while having a fight. If you're fighting before you even order. Yeah.
That's the thing. They ate fast so they could argue more. They actually didn't enjoy their food so that they could be like, and another thing. Like, that is so wild to me. It was horrible.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm honest, though, I would have loved that. But we've talked before. I enjoy a couple fights on the streets. So
yeah, you would have loved this one.
That's dinner and a show.
Slinging spaghetti out of your mouth on a sidewalk in the afternoon too. Like, that was my other thing where I was like,
it happened today?
No. This is a while back.
Okay, but I was just wondering, was it a weekday? Because today's a weekday.
No, it was a weekday. Yeah.
Wow. So afternoon.
In my head, this is when I was on hiatus. So then in my head, I'm like, okay, y'all are either like me, where you're on some sort of vacation and one of you has ruined it, or neither one of y'all has a job anyway. So like, I don't know why. Because here's the thing: if you're out like that, if you're out in the world like that at 3:30, I'm not gonna presume to know what's going on with everybody's life, but if you can be out in the sun having spaghetti at 3:30 on a Tuesday, you got a good life. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So what are you fighting about? You know,
what are y'all fighting about?
What are you fighting about?
Because y'all weren't
you clearly
fighting
got
about
it
the bill.
made. You got afternoon weekday spaghetti. What can you be mad about?
I'm just saying. Think about how many people, like, are either have to worry about something or have to be at work at 3:30.
Oh, for sure.
So then the fact that I'm here, y'all are here, everyone else is here. By the way, I did not expect that place to be packed on a weekday. For like it must have been an entire corporate office's lunch.
Oh yeah,
Late lunch.
Yeah, closed for private party.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. 3:30 is a strange time too.
Dude, so first of all, I walk in. I almost think it's an actual private party, like someone's birthday, because I've never seen the place that packed, even at night. So then I walk in and I'm like, something's happening. Like, are they shooting a movie here? This is crazy, right? And then they're like, oh, we have seating outside. I'm like, oh, God.
You hate eating outside so much. And generally, I don't love it either. It has to be the right type of weather for me to want to eat outside.
Have you eaten outside New York?
Yeah.
Oof. It's the worst here. I don't even know if I care about eating outside other places.
Why do you think it's the worst there? What is it that really...
Bro, there's no think. I was farted on.
See, this is what I'm trying to get to. I'm getting to the goods.
This dude.
When did you get farted on while eating outside in New York?
I went to a restaurant with Sally, and I think it was Mediterranean or something. Went to this restaurant with Sally, and it was good. We were enjoying ourselves. And then this guy passed by, and is like playing on his phone or something, and just fully lets loose. And you can tell. I still debate whether or not it was on purpose. Maybe this dude was being a jerk, who knows? But he farted really loud and really hard right as he passed me. And then I had a moment of like, and then whether he heard me go, or whatever, he just like bolted around the corner. And I was just like, so he definitely did fart. And it wasn't even like he farted and then laughed or whatever. I think this person was genuinely embarrassed.
Yeah, something happened to him there. He wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. And like, honestly, we're outside, so it's not even like I smelled anything. But I just realized as I was out there that if this did happen inside, I'm not saying it can't, but if it did happen inside, there'd be a discussion. You know what I mean? You're not getting away from me that fast inside.
Oh, you can't. Yeah, you can't sprint away.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're saying there'd be some slight decorum. Perhaps if it happened inside,
I would at least catch up to you and ask you if you have ruined your pants. Because it didn't sound like a healthy fart.
Oh, see, so this is more coming of concern for them. You're more concerned about this person and their well-being.
I guess. I mean, I wasn't that mad.
I guess.
But I would like to know. It's like, hey, are you gonna live? Like there's some noises that come out of a person where you're like, no, you're sick.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
no.
Yeah, especially I don't know. Why is it worse that it's someone not at the restaurant with you? It's just a passerby.
It's just a passerby because they could be living a dusty life. They could be living like a genuinely unhealthy life where they shoot out hot dog farts at you as you're just trying to enjoy your grape leaves.
Okay, so you've been farted on. Gotta say, that's a first great reason. It's a first great reason to hate dining outside New York. Is there any other reason? Because you keep talking about the elements. Has anything happened to you elements-wise?
This did not happen to me because I was inside.
Okay.
But I saw outside that a bike messenger, at least he looked like a bike. He could have been seamless, but a bike messenger completely totaled a table. So he was not looking.
Oh, no.
And like this dude, okay, this, I don't know. I don't even know if I should be laughing about this because everybody seemed genuinely hurt. But he basically, this guy was coming out of nowhere, and in New York there are bike lanes, but there aren't enough bike lanes, and the bike lanes aren't everywhere. So sometimes
they're not consistent. They're not consistent.
Yeah. So sometimes someone, especially if you have a certain route, as a cyclist, you get on the sidewalk. This person clearly was turning from a street with a bike lane to a street without one. And was not looking ahead, was probably looking sideways or maybe looking for the bike lane or whatever where it was going to continue. Because
behind them, they're being chased.
To be fair, there was a van. Like this is what ended up happening. There was a bike lane, right? This person was in the bike lane. At the turn, like at the intersection, there's a parked van that they would have either had to turn more into the road to pass or mount the sidewalk to pass. Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah.
When they mounted the sidewalk, whether they were looking at the van or whether they were looking to see if the bike lane was there, they mounted the sidewalk and then just completely ate up this couple that was sitting at a table outside.
Damn.
Like it was really bad.
That's like a
like the person,
that's like a movie stunt.
Yeah, like the person on the bike went flying first, right?
Oh, no.
So the person on the bike went flying. Then the person that they sort of flew over just slid more onto the table. Then the person that they flew into fell back with them. And so the person that they flew over that's like pushed into the table just falls sideways. So then all the food falls on that person. But it was one of those things that when you see it, you immediately think that the cyclist is in the wrong, but then you see the van and you're like, all right, well, I don't think that should be there because no one was in it.
Oh,
Someone just parked their van, like, you know, kind of in the intersection almost.
But yeah, like,
just imagine you're at a restaurant and the table explodes.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, yes, it sounds bad. It sounds like everyone got hurt, but golly, I bet that'd be great to see.
Look.
Oh man, that'd be so awesome to see. Sounds really bad. I hope everyone was okay.
Can you imagine? Okay, this is what it looked like. Do you remember the Spider-Man movie from 2001? Maybe the one with Tobey Maguire, the first,
the original Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah,
the original Spider-Man. Remember, I think it's in the first one or it may be the second one, where Mary Jane's talking, his spidey sense tingles, and then he grabs her, and because Doc Ock, it must be the second one, because Doc Ock throws the car into the coffee shop.
Yeah.
Okay, imagine that, but if nobody moved. Because the cyclist came crashing into them, and there was no superhero sequence where they dodged anything. Every plate hit them, the cutlery hit them, every knee was scraped. Like it just everyone flew too much. Everyone, because the cyclist flew so much that I was like, let's make sure he's moving. You know what I mean?
Was this a scene for something? Was this a stunt chase that happened here?
Yeah, and then the person who got hit from the back, they fell like Family Guy style because they also had
like a bent knee and
okay. So not only
they always have that arm hanging like behind them or whatever.
Yeah. So for the people just listening, just imagine a person is on the ground and a table is sideways, but the tablecloth is on them, like tucking them in. The tablecloth has fallen on them with the plates. And they're not moving right away. Everybody is as hurt as they are surprised. Dude, this was like genuinely. I thought I had seen.
A death? You thought?
Yeah, I thought I had genuinely seen someone like messed up for real. Like
we're always flirting with it.
Yeah,
the Josh Johnson Show, flirting with the afterlife. That's what we are.
Because the way that everyone fell had to be like the sloppiest way you could fall, because also these weren't like young people.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? Like these weren't.
I do know what you're saying, and that's the last detail that I didn't want.
Dude, that like these people look like they only got two of those hits in them.
Even the cyclist was an elderly man.
He wasn't that old, but he was like old enough that you don't want him to fall off his bike at all, right? Like he didn't look like Biden on a bike, but he looked close, you know?
Yeah.
And so then the fact that the force that everyone got hit with and the fact that everybody flew, you know what it did to me though, why it was so scary for me is actually because of a misconception that I had. So growing up,
bikes were made of knives.
What?
I said that bikes were made of knives.
No.
It's a misconception you had. Jokes.
I've watched a lot of Law & Order SVU, right? And in one episode of Law & Order SVU, the way that they start the episode is this bike messenger who has been hired by a disgruntled parent who didn't get custody to kidnap his kid back, right? Tries to do that at the beginning of the episode. So the beginning of the episode is them in a park with a grandma and a kid, and then a guy grabs the kid and is trying to like run and get away, puts the kid on his bike. The kid's like, grandma. He's pedaling on the bike and he's got some speed, and then just crashes into the grandma hard, right? Now, later on in that episode, they kill the grandma, okay? So later on in the episode, they're like, oh, Nana didn't make it, right? So then I was like, man, can a person be on a bike fast enough to kill you, you know? And so when I saw that, even though I know that they'd have to be going Usain Bolt kicking levels fast to kill you, I still had a flashback of when I was younger and that bike messenger hit that old woman and she died in the episode. So when I saw the like table explode, because also like food is hitting the window. Right. So like there's little like dips that have hit the window and you're not sure what's sauce and what's blood, you know? Because you're like, did these people just explode? Because I can't see everyone.
I just love that you had like you had a flashback to a TV show.
Yeah.
Because
dude, I thought these people could die. I thought that
you have PTSD about SUV. Huh? Don't get mad.
But you said the vehicle.
Oh, I did say the vehicle.
Yeah.
We'll go again. PTSD from SVU. I think it's because SUV sounded better rhyme.
It does rhyme, yeah.
I think that's why my brain did it.
That's why I almost didn't say anything.
Yeah. PTSDVU.
Jeez. But yeah, no, they like
Miami.
They got that was like hard to watch.
And
in my head, I was like, man, this is why one of the other reasons why dying out. And I've actually, I don't know who I've told this story to. I think this is the first time I'm telling that story, and it's to you because I don't think I've ever told Sally about that.
You were really traumatized by that episode of Law & Order SVU.
Dude, okay. So this is the thing that happened in my head in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Because once again, I don't really care about eating alone. Like I'll go have a meal by myself and just chill.
Right.
Especially if I heard the place is good, or if it's right there and it looks, like reasonable prices, anything.
And you're gonna hold a server hostage with conversation anyway. So
yeah. So I'm sitting at the bar when this happened, right?
Okay, so you were in the restaurant that it happened out in front of.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's even better.
And so I'm eating tacos.
It's like the people. It's like the people who are inside in Ghostbusters when Lewis gets attacked by the dog.
Dude,
the table explodes and everyone calmly goes back to eating.
I'm like, and a couple people, this was so funny to me, right? This is when I knew I was in a different place because this is early when I lived in New York. So I was like, I think I was in Queens, right? And
okay.
And so then the whole thing happens and just like bodies flying and everything, and then like everybody hit the ground, right? And there was only 2 tables outside because this is pre-pandemic. So this is just like, hey, we have these 2 tables. These 2 tables and these 4 chairs in front of the restaurant. Everything else is in the restaurant. And the restaurant's too small. It's like a little storefront restaurant, right?
Yeah, so they don't have a big patio anyway, just a couple seats out front.
Yeah. Couple seats way too close to the sidewalk. And and basically I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, if I had eaten outside, that would have either happened to me or I would have got a closer view of it, which would have been horrible, you know?
Yeah.
Because, like, the distance
no matter what, you're a part of it.
Yeah, the distance that I saw it from made it very funny. Like I'm not gonna lie. Whether
No,
they were hurt
that'd
or
be
not,
great.
the distance I was away, because also everything was muffled because I couldn't really hear. So then by it being muffled through the glass, all I heard was crashing, like the crashing of glass and stuff like that. But then a little bit of like, oh. because my man that was on the bike caught some air. Okay, like he didn't
damn.
he didn't fly forever, but like okay, okay, I'm trying to describe the trajectory the best because
Right.
there are some people listening, some people watching. So the guy is like hitting the first person. But when he's hitting the first person, the bike is most of what's hitting the first person. So the
Right.
bike is what's really driving that person into the table and knocking them sideways. When he launches off the bike, it's into the person who was sitting across from them, but it doesn't fully stop there. So he hits the person.
So he
that's
launches
sitting there
into a spear move.
into like kind of a spear. I'm surprised the second person didn't explode because he launches into a spear, which knocks them back and over. But then he keeps flying a little bit.
Oh, so the second person ostensibly is a ramp.
Yeah, because the
He
second
goes
person,
off of.
the second person caught it, and that's what knocked them down.
Right.
And then he lands like maybe a foot away from where they landed.
Ugh.
So he flew very well. Like if he was
I mean, yeah. Everyone sounds hurt.
instead of if he was not trying to deliver something and he was trying to fly, mission accomplished because my man flew. Like when you looked from the window, because I did get up and go to the window. When you looked at the window, where the bike was to where he landed was like at least 3 bikes. Like he flew 3 bikes deep. I'm pretty sure my measurements are just wrong, so I'm just going by bikes. Because everything got pushed at least a bike away from where it was, right?
So that's what I tell my math students to do. If you get confused, just measure in bikes.
Yeah, just measuring bikes.
Yeah.
People understand the ballpark of where you are. By the way, ballpark 664 bikes. Okay.
It's actually a big ass ballpark, probably in bikes.
Yeah, but that's if you lay them down.
They would still be the same length. Just because you.
No, you lay them down. It's different. Yeah.
It's still the same length.
Everybody knows that bikes are longer when they're sideways. Don't embarrass me in front of these people.
Tip that bike
It's
over.
the same.
Shorter.
You sound dumb right now, okay? It's the same length, whether it's right side up or it's sideways. Tell that to the bike. Tell that to the bike that got crashed, because that bike was much shorter by the time that dude landed.
That's not because it was sideways. That's because it rammed into a customer. Very hard from the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
customers.
You've never told me that story. That is
Yeah.
because that's a brutal thing to see.
It was really bad, and in my head, even when it happened in my head, I was like, even if this cyclist had tried on purpose to do this to the restaurant, he would have barely made it through the glass. But the fact that they were just
You
open,
just hit it and just all the way down.
yeah, the fact that these people were open out there in the air, exposed, is why they got the way they did.
They were exposed to bike.
They were just out here living raw, and then got hit by a bike.
Living raw.
Yeah, you can't just no protection at all.
You gotta be ready for bike.
Yeah,
You have to be ready for bike.
100%.
You never know. So at least put one of those big padded like bear suits on or something, because you gotta protect yourself from bike.
Or at least a helmet. That's irresponsible. You getting slammed into the table.
That's what some restaurants will start doing that to be like, hey, to cut down on liability, we ask that anyone eating on the patio wear a helmet.
Also, I really wanted to know.
They spray them out like bowling shoes and just there you go. There's your helmet.
I've thought about this for so long. I wonder what they were talking about before the cyclist hit. Like, I almost wish they were fighting. Like, I almost wish they were like, I don't even know you anymore. And then, bow!
You're just a thorn in my side. You're a real pain in my ass. Oh!
Yeah. Or they were having a pleasant conversation. They were like, oh my gosh, the enchiladas are so... Ah!
Yeah. Showing pictures of their kids. And Amelia's 4. Yeah, she's... Oh my God!
I really wished... it would have been so... like, as funny as it was to watch, because everybody eventually got up, and they didn't look great. Like, they had their scrapes. They were definitely hurt. But...
They left changed.
Yeah.
This was a life-changing meal.
Hey, can I tell you, though? The couple that got hit, what'd they do? They came inside. They took their ass inside and sat at a table like civilized people.
And then acted like nothing happened.
The cyclist limped away on his broken bike, but I would have loved if they were lawyers and they were like, now these documents are really...
No!
Salsa and blood.
Salsa and blood and copyrighted, the confidential documents flying through the air. You see those things like you specifically because you've seen men trip on bananas.
Yeah.
A genuine cartoon thing. I'm still jealous. It's
fire.
the main thing. It's the main thing I'm jealous of you of.
Yeah.
Career stuff, I don't really care. You getting to see that man slip on a banana?
Yeah.
That's seeing the face of God.
Panic in his eyes.
Yeah. You see stuff like this. You see men dropping their spaghetti on the bus. I'm starting to wonder. If there's something deeper going on here. There's some sort of you're some sort of strange blessed individual because you're always near these things, but you don't really get into you don't fall down a ton and get hurt. Like it happens sometimes.
I fall down all the time, dude. The burger.
The burger. It's true. Okay. I did. Okay. Still okay. So generally, you're a magnet for these situations.
Sure. But I'm also out a lot. By being out a lot, if you go out because here's the thing, lived in New York 6 years. If you go out in New York every day for 6 years, things will just start to run together as they happen. If we did the podcast every day, I wouldn't have as much to talk about as far as what I've seen. It'd be more talking about ideas.
You'd be indoors more.
Yeah, I'd be indoors more. But doing the podcast once a week versus an entire week of being outside, too much is happening.
You still seem like a magnet for him, though, because
that's also why I'm exhausted. That's why I started this episode. I literally started this episode by saying it's like not fun anymore.
So you've peaked on experience now. You are done. You are done having Josh Johnson show adventures.
Dude, imagine if you just and luckily this has only happened to me once, but imagine if you just saw 2 middle-aged people maybe die once a month. Eventually you'd be like, hey, I think I'm just going to take Ubers now and Seamless and do my spot and go home.
Oh, very true. I understand that, but I still think you are a specific magnet for him, though, too. Because even when I'm out and go on adventures, or I'm, people always ask me if I have stories because I work with kids and stuff. I work I'm a sub. You think funny stuff would happen being around a bunch of chaotic children all the time? No, not really.
Do you talk to them a lot?
What do you mean talk to them a lot?
Like, I feel like even now, even in this episode, there was a point where you said, see, that's what I was trying to get to, right? So from talking long enough, I finally gave you something that was interesting where you were like, that's what I was wondering. Does that make sense? I think that with kids sometimes it's like, because they don't know much. They don't have a lot of life experience, and they don't know a lot of things. Anything interesting that they have to say is after like.
Oh, no. I'm also not even talking about them, what they say. I'm just talking about them being chaotic balls of rubber. You'd think I'd see more chaos, and I don't. But the chaos finds you, is what I'm saying.
Oh, no,
That's what I'm getting at. I'm in situations where chaos should be abound. Mm-hmm. But 'tis not.
Also, maybe when
it's happening to you a lot. I know I'm more of a shut-in than you. I mean, not a shut-in, but that's not the right word.
I feel you.
But I stay in more than you. But still, you see the craziest of the craziest, and I'm just starting to wonder: is there some sort of curse? Are you some sort of strange chosen child?
I think it's literally just math. I think it's like if you go out every day for 7 days, and if you travel 2 of those 7 days, then
Fair.
like eventually, because like when you think about it, it's like a lot of it's happening. Some of it's happening. This is the first time that we've talked about eating out and why I don't like eating outside and why. But
well, let's be careful with that wording.
Sure, but I feel like a lot
Josh
of it has
and Logan
been
talk
airports,
eating out. All right.
And it's like, just the places that I am.
But I never see anything fun in airports either. I'm in airports pretty often too. You've seen full-on fights in airports. I know you're in airports way more than me.
Yeah, but I took Spirit. Like this is the thing. I guess to me, it doesn't feel abnormal because I'm also being put in, or sometimes putting myself in, less than ideal situations for me to have a normal day. You know what I mean?
That's true. I guess, yeah, you leave the house striving to not have a regular day.
Dude, I went on
because you're like, I'm going to talk to strangers. And
I went on a 4-hour walk. That's not going to be conducive with nothing happening.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's the fair walk I was talking about where I stopped at the place.
Right.
But it's like a 4-hour, like I even have to steel myself sometimes to be like, listen, just to me in a mirror, listen. If you go on this 3-hour walk right now, you are probably going to have something happen. This is not a safe or good place that you live.
This will not be the relaxing experience you're hoping for.
If you walk to Queens, you will see something. You know what I mean? Because that's the other thing that I find too with people where you look at LA as a great example. So it took me a while to learn my lesson that New York and LA were different in terms of walking, to where even if you could walk, you shouldn't necessarily walk depending on where you're walking, no matter the time of day. Because when I was in San Francisco and we were recording those episodes remote,
you walked into a wedding, so you got to be careful.
And that was just
anywhere.
A walk between episodes because I was like, oh, okay, this place is 1.5 miles away, so I'm just going to go there, walk back. And it was insane, and half of it was horrible. Like,
true.
It was not good. So I think that's what it is. I honestly, because you're not the first person to be like, how does all this stuff? And I also don't look at it as happening to me. I see it as happening. But
still getting to be a witness. You're still near it. And that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes people are just like, anything crazy happened, when you were in New York earlier. I'm like, not really.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. So I'm just saying, I don't want to rule out some sort of curse or prophecy. Just putting that out there.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
I'm just saying that you are somehow the magnet. I don't know. There's something. It's a good thing. I don't know. I'm just saying. Another option is that I just thought of, because you do see a lot of these things when you're out, but we also talk a lot about how bad your eyes are. So there is a chance that anytime you just see a flourish of colors, your brain fills it in as violent chaos.
Yeah. I'm like,
so maybe
everyone in New York really knows how to throw hands. Like
everybody in Queens is so good at exploding. Yeah.
Really good. It's crazy.
So there's also that. There's also maybe.
Yeah.
If you just got glasses, then suddenly you'd be like, why is life so boring all of a sudden? I don't see anything anymore.
I mean, it could happen. It's like those people who always want a certain type of car and then they get it and they're like, it's okay.
Yeah. Or they immediately crash it.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Okay. I'm just trying to build out the JJU. I feel like we haven't fully gotten into the what I'm creating is a prequel series.
Jeez.
About your adventures.
Yeah.
Which is what magical amulet you have in your house that leads to all these things. I do want to go way, way back to something you mentioned. I meant to say it earlier, but then we were talking about the bike story.
Yeah.
But you were talking about in Spider-Man 2, the slow motion, but car coming through. But then you said no, if it was that, but no one moved. And in that moment, you made me realize how terrible of a power Spidey sense would be by itself.
Yeah, if you just had it, but you didn't have it, you would just know for a while that something bad was going to happen.
You would get the slow motion experience of being crushed by a car.
Yeah.
But no.
Just you
no.
like,
oh, no. Fuck.
Did you ever, apparently that Dane Cook joke is a real thing where the woman was at a NASCAR event and a tire came off in an accident and it flew into the stands and hit her.
Oh, yeah, that was a famous thing, yeah.
Oh, okay. So I feel like that's the best example of it. It's like you see the tire coming from so far away, but you don't feel nimble enough to get away. And you're also just mesmerized by the fact you're like a deer in headlights where it's like, is this really going to hit me? And so you just kind of throw up a hand, maybe. I remember I did that with a basketball where this kid, first of all, they were too big for me to play with, but like that was PE, so it's just part of life. But in junior high, a bunch of kids had been like out sick or something this day in junior high, and it was like, for whatever reason, maybe I was in high school. I don't know. I was like a puny kid anyway. But like for whatever reason, I was one of 3 scrawny kids in 2 basketball teams worth of kids playing basketball for PE, right? So we split the court for each team, and you couldn't cross because that's the other people's game, whatever.
Right, yeah.
And this kid passed the ball to me so hard. It's honestly, I've been hit with a baseball and I still think that basketball was faster. Like, this kid passed it the way you throw a dodgeball to hit somebody, right?
Right.
And it's coming at me so fast that all I can do is like, all I could do is put my hand out, and I put my hand out for what should be a catch. Like, you know how, this is the best way I can think of to explain it. In physics, sometimes something...
Sorry, was just not expecting that to be the first 2 words of that explanation.
In physics class, they taught us...
In physics, yeah.
In physics class, they taught us that sometimes the speed of an object will like fully change the result that you're expecting. So instead of a ball bouncing off of a wall, if it's shot hard enough into the wall, it'll either explode or go through the wall, depending on what the wall is made of. You know what I mean? So the ball is coming at me. I stick my hand out, not like an athlete, but just...
No, you've never done that. Why start now?
Just like someone who knows a ball is coming, right? So my hand's not out in a defensive position. I'm not like this, but my hand's out in a way that I can at least catch it, you know?
Sure.
It's coming at me so fast that I don't have enough time to get the palm in the way of the center point of the ball. And so all it does, and I watch it happen because my hand's like this far out, right? The ball's coming at me. I watch it slowly. And it truly happened in slow motion in my mind. I watch it slowly bend my fingers back and betray my face. Just like it was.
Yeah, your hand gave up your face.
Yeah, because it was coming so fast that I put my hand out. It bent my hand back like this, and just was open season on my face. And the ball hit me in the face so hard that I my head went back. The ball went... This is so insane. So my head goes back, but I could swear to you, I was maybe concussed, so who knows if I'm right about this. But the ball hits me so far, moves my hand, hits my face, and I could almost promise you keeps going in the same direction. Like my face had no had no influence on where the ball went next. So it just sort of knocked my face out of the way and then kept traveling. So this dude literally passed it almost through me, right?
Through your face.
And so so it moves my hand, moves my face. I hit the ground and I just hear everybody go, ooh.
Yeah, that's...
And I don't even try to open my eye.
and they weren't even saying it for you. They were saying because the ball went through you so fast it hit someone else behind you.
Dude, when I tell you I didn't even attempt to get up, open my eye.
Nope. You don't need to live in that reality.
Yeah. I genuinely felt like my hand, like my wrist was sprained. Like I've never
Damn.
had anything. When I tell you this kid threw the ball at me, like I didn't know anyone could do it. And honestly, he was a little like, I don't know, too strong to begin with. Like for real. Like hey
man,
like,
can I get real with you for a second? This guy is just too jacked.
Like
too strong.
It
Who
looked
needs
like
that?
for real,
Who
it looked
even
like he
needs
was
someone to
taking
be that strong?
steroids for PE. It looked like this kid was straight up on roids for PE because I remember on the first day
This
of school.
kid better be pitching for the Mets now or something. Cause
dude, when I went to
sounds like he had a future.
the first day of school, okay, and they gave us our uniforms to change out in and everything.
Okay.
I saw that kid, and I was like, "That's not a kid,
That's Randy Johnson,
dude." Like this child was so jacked. I was like, he should be teaching, because the PE teacher out of shape. This kid right here is doing the stuff today. He's doing currently.
I want to know what he's up to.
Yeah, he has a master's degree in physical.
Look at this kid. He's built like a brick shit house. Got an arm like a rocket. Come on. Let him teach.
It was, dude. I couldn't believe it hit me that hard.
That's great.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Not for me.
Say I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I might be a different person if that ball had never hit me in my head.
Honestly, bro, to tie it back in, I think that might explain your eye problem.
Dude.
You got hit in the face so hard you only see violence now.
Dude, this kid threw the ball. I don't even know I wouldn't even know how to begin.
I don't know how you're alive, to be honest, because it sounds like it went through your face.
The fact that it moved my head for me.
For you?
Yeah. Dude, this didn't hit me in the face and it bounced off and then went somewhere.
Right.
It kept
your head bounced
traveling
off.
the same direction as if a person wasn't in the way. It probably could have broke my collarbone if I
didn't break your nose or something.
Dude, well, no, it was too high. I thought about that because I was like, man, this my whole. When I tell you my whole head hurt, because I must have.
Josh doesn't remember the 3-month coma he was in after that.
Dude, I'm looking back. I must have been moving out of the way slightly or something. Like
right.
I think sometimes you know how when someone goes to punch you, if you're not a fighter and someone goes to punch you, you'll like close your eye if they're too close. Like if you know they're gonna make contact, you'll like flinch. Sure. I think that my whole body, as soon as it hit my hand and it moved my hand, the millisecond my body had left, it was like, we need to just leave.
Yeah, just every part of you took over, like a cat when it jumps, just inherently just knows to spring up and around.
Dude, it was so bad. I was like, and then. That's the other thing too. I never really got an attitude with my PE teacher, but that was like the one time I like got up and he's like, "Johnson, you all right?" I'm like, "What? Am I all? Am I?" It was like the most sass I probably had with a teacher up to that point, because I was so offended by the question, because I was like,
No,
my man,
I'm changed now.
Did you
I'm changed
see
now.
what happened? For you to even ask if I'm all right, you know I'm not. DIB?
I don't remember how mangoes taste now. It hit me so hard. I have forgotten flavors.
Bro, I'm tasting I am tasting blood. And I do not remember biting myself. I think that my body just sent me a little bit of blood in my mouth to remind me I was alive. I didn't bite my tongue. I didn't bite my cheek. But when I woke up, I was like, I could taste adrenaline.
Yeah. My brain is sore.
Yeah. This has nothing to do with dining out, but,
No, I think we found a whole other thread there, which was the the final destination life of Josh Johnson.
Dude, this was
just the Rube Goldbergian chaos of a day with Josh.
I'm not saying you have to coddle kids, but let them play with kids. This kid is clearly an adult. It's happened to me a couple times in my life where I've had to play with a guy that was too big for us. And I'm like, this you need to stop this. Let him do his pull-ups by himself. He clearly wants to be strong. Let him be strong somewhere else. You got him playing basketball with regular kids, with regular children. You have him playing basketball. It's goofy. It's like you should be ashamed of yourself that you thought this was a competitive game.
These aren't playmates. These are victims.
Dude,
send this man elsewhere.
This kid had so much hair. We're talking about
goatee,
no, we're talking about a kid who is it's almost like he's growing up in a different time. Because you know how men in the, I don't know, whatever, the 1800s would have since they lived to be 36, they'd have a full chest hair at 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
This kid is living like that. Because not only is he stronger than everyone, he's got so much hair. He puts on his PE shirt and we see the hair coming out from the collar and everything. This dude is testosterone.
Now, would we consider a Teen Wolf scenario?
It would make more sense than just a child being that strong.
than just a large, strong man.
Either that dude has been held back and is low-key lying about his age and has been held back for 5 years straight.
Yeah.
Or he's a teen wolf, because none of it makes sense.
Sound like you said Teen Wolf, which I really liked.
Yeah, Teen Wolf.
sounds like the lame knockoff Teen Wolf.
Yeah, Teen Wolf, 2 F's, 1 U.
Coming to theaters Friday. Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf.
Shall we open up the mailbag?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let's open the mailbag. Got a couple here. This one, I just did a weird move around the mic for no reason there with my phone. This one is from Becky, a.k.a. Recky, I believe. Or is it Reeky? W-R-E-K-Y. And it just says, now I've seen everything. Squeaks in Toontown. I know you're headed to Sacramento this weekend, and I'm stoked to see you Friday. That's right. Update. Sadly, I will not be there this weekend. Some stuff came up, but Josh will still be there. And, he's the one who's faces on the website and everything. So you're going to be fine. It's still going to be good. Go see Josh. I thought I'd share this stunning house that just went up for sale in my neighborhood. Best viewed on a computer, taken the full glory of this beauty. It belonged to a psychiatrist who does it in the house. I'm still at a loss for words. I'm told it's even crazier in person. Let me know if you want to join me for a tour this weekend. I guess sorry, I should have brought this up on the computer maybe. Oh, God. Yep, okay, hang on. Got to open this for you. You got to see the inside of this house real quick. From the outside, looks very unassuming. On the inside, chaos. And yeah, maybe we'll put the listing in the. Oh my God. Okay, so pretty normal outside, right?
Yeah.
Regular house, and then it takes a hard left turn.
That's so upsetting.
For the people just listening, yeah, we'll put the link maybe down below, but it
looks like if SpongeBob was into kink.
Because it's even better, too, because I'm looking at this. I don't have my glasses on, so I can still see it, but not great. So the wavy stuff really makes me feel like I'm having some sort of seizure. It's very just squiggly and like Van Gogh. This is what Van Gogh saw in his head and why he was so depressed. Oh, my God, there's a tree in it?
This is like really messed up. Like this should be illegal.
It looks like a mistake. Oh my God.
Whoever did this is a sick person.
Well, especially it said there were psychiatrists that would do appointments in house.
Nah, this is the house from the first season of American Horror Story.
Like, imagine you're not feeling great. Yeah, that kitchen then looks busted. I don't know what's going on there. That's a hard. They didn't put as much work into this.
I think they put the same amount of work. And the kitchen is just the place where it all just really comes together. There's no excuses.
And then there's just a bunch of blank rooms. Yeah, because the other rooms, I wonder if these were painted to try to cover it up. But then, wow, that's a whole landscape. That's a lot. That's too much. That's too much.
That's really upsetting. Like it. Wow.
Well, Josh, you can go
you have $1 million
on a viewing
to burn.
Yeah, it looks pretty expensive too.
Yeah. And by $1 million to burn, I mean it would be better for you to burn $1 million than buy this house. Thanks so much for listening to Josh Johnson Show. I had a great time recording. I hope you had a great time listening. If you are looking to catch up with us on any of the socials, you can find me at Josh Johnson Comedy on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, where we're posting clips of the show. You may be watching one right now. And if you're looking for Logan,
you can follow me on Instagram at Logan M. Nielsen. And if you want to get into our mailbag and send us upsetting houses, you can do that. JoshJohnsonShow@gmail.com. You can also leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts because we like to read those in the show as well. And if you just want some more bonus content, different podcasts, different video stuff, come join our Patreon. Patreon.com/Josh Johnson Show. We got a lot of fun stuff there. All those links are in the bio below, as well as tickets to see Josh in Sacramento. Again, sorry I'm not going to be there. We lied last week.
Also, one last thing that I'm throwing out there. If you are watching this on YouTube and you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. You know, maybe tell a friend. And if you really hated it, tell someone that's not a friend.
Yeah. You're like, this isn't for me, but you know who it is for. Fucking Daniel.
Yeah.
Also, you made me think of one more thing. We do have another virtual show coming up, and I believe that is Sunday, I'm going to say October 16th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Right? That's the one we picked?
Yep.
Yep. So that's coming up in just a week and a half about. So another virtual show. We're having to do this one a little bit earlier because we're going to be on the road at the end of October. Actually, I mean it this time, that I'll be on the road with Josh at the end of October.
Thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great weekend.
Goodbye.
Fargo, North Dakota, make some noise for Josh Johnson!
I've had doctors that really just felt like they were piecing it together as we went. You know what I mean? Like truly. Like one time, I don't even know what it was. I had something on my leg that was like concerning me.
right? And so I went to the doctor, and I'm telling him about it. I'm sitting in his office, going over it, going like when it happened, everything, how worried I am because I've never seen anything like this before, and how I've just been like feeling like tired all the time. So I'm wondering if it has something to do with this. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, do you want to take a look at it? He's like, yeah, we'll get to it. And then he stands up, grabs like all the stuff, stethoscope, stuff that he, I guess he gonna listen to it. I don't know what the plan is. But then he's like, go ahead and stand up, and you can drop your you can drop your pants. And like I'm like, why are you seem nervous? Like it was just, do you know what I mean? Like it's not like we're buds. Like I have to do this now. And we've talked about it thoroughly. Like, you know where the thing is, like upper thigh, right? And so then I like open my belt buckle, I unzip, I start dropping my pants, and maybe I did too fast for him because he was like, oh, pause. I was like, pause? Not a doctor. Say pause. Oh. Because it's tough and it's scary because we only know a medieval amount about how to keep ourselves alive. We think we're smarter because we have more access to information, but even with that access, some people don't want the information. There are people that are straight up, like I used to think from the bottom of my heart, oh, if people just knew, if you knew better, you'd do better. I used to like live by that mantra. And now I'm realizing, no, some people don't want to know. Some people would like to do exactly what they do now. Because to me, I go to a doctor because I'm like, you're a professional. The hope is that you know what's going to be going on. So I don't need to learn about what's going on while it's happening to me, because that's how you die slowly. You know what I mean? I don't want to be sitting on my deathbed like, I figured it out. And so you go to a doctor, because doctors supposed to know. But now there are people who will admit that they don't know, but they'll also be like, nah, he doesn't know either. And it's like, look, I'm not saying doctors know everything, but we, as the general public, we have like a certain amount of knowledge that helps keep us alive. And the rest is other people that we've never met being like, don't eat the lettuce this week. There's E. coli everywhere. And without them, I wouldn't know that. I'd be hitting the lettuce hard. I'd be like, look at how healthy I am. I'm mid-salad right now. Oh, you do your best. Everyone is doing their best. Don't think that I think people aren't doing their absolute best. Even when they don't do what I agree with, even when they don't do things that I think are like common sense. People are doing their best, you know? It's just sometimes someone's best shouldn't be here. Do you know what I mean? You can have all the good intentions in the world, but if your best is like subpar, it should probably get you out of there. Let you be a cheerleader. Because I've been through all manner of like medical things. Luckily, nothing so serious that it was like fundamentally life-threatening for long. I'm very thankful that I don't deal with like chronic pain or conditions that I know people in my life do that make them have to adjust plans, cancel plans, make them have to adjust their life, make them have to be thinking about this thing all the time. I luckily don't have to think about my body all the time, you know? But I know a lot of people that do. I know a lot of people that depend on those experts for things that if we were going off of my knowledge, most of this room would be dead. No? I don't claim to be an expert, but I feel like there's this weird place we've gotten to where it used to be knowing something was like a big deal. Oh, ask them, they know, right? And now questioning something is as big of a deal as knowing something. And I'm not saying questions are bad. I just think that at a certain point, We need to distinguish the people who only ever ask questions from the people who actually know things. Do you know what I mean? You should ask questions. I don't want anyone to blindly follow anyone. I'm just saying that when people say do your own research, some of them haven't researched. Research is boring. If you weren't bored during your research, if you just strung a marathon of documentaries on YouTube together, I bet you that wasn't research, though. I'm not even saying everything you learned was wrong. I'm just saying, like, research usually takes time, takes years of your life, takes dedicated study and attention. Real research, knowing something, you have to give something to know something. It takes nothing to just pick things apart until you confuse everyone. Do you know what I mean? And so I said all that because I've made mistakes in my life. I didn't know the difference between the emergency room and urgent care. I wish that they give one of them a less immediate name. I didn't know they weren't interchangeable, all right? It's the emergency room and then it's urgent care. Well, I urgently need help for my emergency, so what should I do? Where does that leave us now? I'm at a fork in the road and whichever I pick sounds like they'll help me quickly. Turns out emergency rooms are for like life-threatening, immediate care. Urgent care is for when you got like a headache. Urgent care, look, and this is not to disparage anyone that works in any place. It's just that urgent care stories, I know people who work in urgent care, and I know people who work in emergency rooms, and the emergency room stories, I should have known to go to the emergency room if it was more serious, because the emergency stories are so much more horrific in nature than the urgent care stories. Like, the urgent care stories are like, yeah, this dude came in and he was filling out his paperwork, but his nose is bleeding the whole time. Kind of got all over the paper, and then he handed it back to me, and I was like, ugh. Emergency room stories are like, there was a dude today that, and also anyone who's ever worked in an emergency room and then told me an emergency room story has a 1,000-yard stare. They're not talking to me. They might be talking to God. They might be asking God, why would you let me see something like that? I got into this business to help people. I really want to help and heal, and you show me the devil. I don't want to see that ever again. Because what they will tell me with that wide stare is like, yeah, this guy came in today and his leg was... And it's like, I don't know what that is. That blinking? Sometimes they will just blink in silence. I'm like, is it in the room right now? This guy came in today and his leg was in his chest. You sure this wasn't a dream? No. Like, I went to urgent care one time and genuinely was sicker than when I walked in. When I left, I walked into urgent care and I had an appointment, and which is odd because I thought you were supposed to be able to just run up in there, but. Get to urgent care, I have my appointment, and the person at the front, look, God bless them, truly. I know they were just doing their best, but they could not stop sneezing and coughing openly. And so I was like, oh, like I'm backing away from this. I'm like, yeah, so do you want me to just go right over there? Do you want me to just walk around you and go back there? He's like, oh, the doctor's not ready yet. I was like, oh, You can go first, dog. Like, if you, I mean, you're already here and you here all day, and like, I don't know, you're probably killing everybody, so if you want to go, that's supposed to be the benefit of working here, right? That you are already here in case you need to be here. And he was like, oh, don't worry, don't worry, it's not COVID. And I was like, that wasn't my concern at all. I wasn't wondering if it was COVID. I was wondering why it was happening right now to you. Like, I want you to be well. That would be better for everybody in here, because we all came sick. And if we all mix our sick together right now, I'm pretty sure we'll get a new thing. And I don't want that to happen. No, and then my man sent me back so the doctor could cough in my mouth. Everybody had it, whatever it was, everybody had it. But now, when you go to the emergency room, let's say that's closer than urgent care, and you're like, you know what, I'll just go right now. And then you get in there, and even if you have a terrible migraine, when you look around an emergency room, it does make you self-conscious about your sickness. The same way where you like go to the gym for the first time in 8 years and you looking around at all the people who are like already swole. When you get to an emergency room and you're not that sick and then you just see people holding bullet wounds closed, you're like, you can go before me if you want. Like, I'm... And so, it's all important stuff. It's hard for us to stay healthy because it's already hard for us to live. You have to do everything that it takes to like have a life, keep people alive if you've made people, and be healthy. And I don't know, maybe it's just the way that we work as a country, but we're so back and forth and 100% all the time. All gas, no brakes, all the time, always behind, fighting, trying to get back in black, fighting that red line, fighting that poverty line, to the point where there are people who genuinely believe they don't have time. Oh, you could do this. This is the healthier thing to do. Oh, make some time for this. I don't have time, right? By the time I get home, I'm exhausted. I just want to sleep. Can I at least have sleep? And so it's tough, you know, even when it comes to eating, even when it comes to like what we know to eat to be healthy. It changes. And sometimes it changes because we find out something. And then sometimes it changes because a company is like, actually, there's a lot of money in kale. You remember kale? You remember that thing that we used to put at the bottom of every salad bar? You know, it used to be the floor of the salad bar. You would go to a Pizza Hut and there would be kale wrapped around the pizza. Not on the pizza, under the pizza. Just use kale as like foliage. And then one day somebody was like, hey, we growing all this kale. You ever taste some? You ever bite down into that kale? It's probably good for you. And then takes off, becomes a whole craze. I'm always blown away with food crazes of food that we've been eating. We've all been alive for a while now, but every year there will be some superfood that's a food we were already aware of. Remember when avocados had their day? Remember when avocado was like, have you no, your skin. And there's vitamins that it's so good for you, your skin. Do you want more skin? Your skin. It's so good for you. See, you have extra skin under your skin. You'll be so healthy. You remember coconut oil. There was a year where coconut oil could do no wrong. They were like, no, put it on your skin. Lather yourself up at night. You'll just be so moisturized. Put it in your hair. It'll get all the dirty stuff out of your hair. It'll clear out your pores in the hair and everything. Get the hair follicle all nice and juicy and stuff. Eat it. Cook with it. It's so good. It'll be good it'll fix your skin from the inside. It'll be delicious and it'll fill it. Ooh, it'll be like all of your organs have new skin. And then somebody else came out with a study that was like, oh, actually don't do any of that. Like it's actually gonna fully clog your pores. It's gonna clog the pores of your hair, and if you eat it, it's gonna like, I don't know, be like a little too loose in your heart while your heart's trying to pump blood. I don't know what they said, but it just, they turned on it in a day. And you would think that all this stuff is happening because we're finding out all these things. But what's really happening is all of these narratives are competing at the same time. There are people who have a vested interest in you eating as much meat as possible. And then there are people who have a vested interest in you eating no meat at all. And I don't even mean on a political front. I'm not even talking about environmentalists versus like vegans versus people who have money in Big Cow. I'm talking about genuinely there are people who believe, for whatever reasons they've come to, that they've concluded that they believe this thing is good for you, this thing is bad for you, and then they put it out into the world. And because we have the internet, you could look up anything, and anything is as good for you as it is bad for you. And that is scary when you know at a medieval amount to keep yourself alive. I'm not claiming to be smarter than anybody, and I try to listen to experts, and I try to do my quote-unquote own research. It's a lot of reading. It's pretty boring. That's why I feel like I'm doing the right thing. You know, but it's still tough to know. I'm not coming down on people for not knowing. I think it's mostly that if someone went to all the trouble to know, maybe that should mean something. You know? I say this because RFK Jr. is the head of Health and Human Services. And if you're not familiar with RFK Jr., he has a very specific sound, very specific way of speaking and thinking, and he's on a real like health kick as a whole personality, all right? And it's unfortunate that so much of that is what feels like riddled with internet. I've never seen someone so interested in health and the science of health without just getting into the science of health. Do you know what I mean? It would be like me knowing every stat that there is to know about basketball. But then when someone rolled me a ball or even tossed me a ball, maybe I'm playing my first pickup game of basketball. With all of this knowledge I supposedly have of the game, I know plays, I know players, I know stats, I know strategies, and then someone actually passes me the ball and I go, there are things that RFK Jr. has said and done. They don't just worry me, you know what I mean? They don't just like worry me. They actively go against, like, it's one thing if you have one theory. I let everybody be subversive about like one thing to me, because I'm like, all right, you might be right about this thing, who knows? Let's investigate, right? When you have 90, nah, dog, this is bad. I don't even like repeating some of the things that he said, because it makes it, if I repeat it, I sound like I think it, because it takes me so long to explain what he thought that I sound like I think it too, and I would rather not. You know, during his confirmation hearing, he said a lot of things that didn't quite fall in line with what he had been saying before he was trying to get confirmed, you know? So he said a lot of the right things to go ahead and get confirmed. And look, he was probably gonna get confirmed no matter what. You know, there was a majority that was gonna push him through, most likely, no matter what he said. And then he gets in, and this is the most troubling thing to me about like RFK Jr. is that there are moments where he'll say something that is like not only like not crazy, it's like the thing that everyone was hoping somebody would say. And then he'll quickly follow it up with a thing that no one has ever said. And you're like, oh, you had us for like a half second. You know, like, because RFK Jr. has talked about like trying to remove all the dyes out of the foods, like out of the candies and out of the like crackers, all the stuff like that, out of the chips. It's like, that's actually a good thing. That would be good. Everyone else already removed it. Like, these companies may be international, but when you go to Europe, it's a different chip. That's not, they don't, and that's specifically because Europe was like, we don't do that to our people. So you should, if you want to be here, you can change it, but you have to change it. You can't just be whatever you want to be, right? And so when RFK Jr. says, like, I'm trying to get all these additives out of the food, all these dyes, all these things, it's like, oh, wow, that's great. That I like that. And then he's like, and we need a registry for autism. And you're like, oh! What are you doing? It's so deeply frustrating, you know? Because it's like that. The whole thing. The whole thing that is that is frustrating about it is that it is someone who, even in the face of experts, would rather not challenge those experts and prove them wrong to their face, just more talk to people who honestly and earnestly are trying to find out and don't know and lead them. You don't see him engaging in like real debate with a doctor who's made the thing their life, who's done the true research, and who's done it over time. I'm not saying science and doctors can never be wrong. I'm saying those are the people you should be having these spats with, instead of going on podcasts and convincing people who also didn't do the thing. They didn't make that their life's work, and then leading them down a path where we're not really sure how bad it could get. And this is in the midst of Doge and other things cutting jobs for like the National Health Institutes, you know, cutting jobs at the FDA, cutting jobs in all these places where we need these things. In fact, there have been rollbacks on things that help us prevent things in the future, on research for the future of what might be going on somewhere else, is what scientists are thinking about all the time, when this thing might happen, right? And if you roll back on that, you won't see the effect right away. You may not even see it for a long time. But then when we are behind, because we used to be the leader, and we're quickly losing our first place position in being who the world looks to figure out new illnesses, to figure out, even with old ones, we can still figure out vaccines, we can still figure out all of these different aspects of how to keep people healthy and alive. And when you roll them back in ways that seem like they don't matter, or at least you don't want to give attention to, the effects we won't know the widespread effect of it. You know, and I'm worried because RFK Jr. got in under this whole like make America healthy again attitude. This is sort of a mantra, right? And I understand that he's like a 70-year-old guy that bench presses. But I would like to, if I can, be healthier than RFK Jr. because he doesn't seem healthy. I haven't seen his blood work. I'm not saying I don't know, but he doesn't seem healthy because he does a lot of stuff that doesn't seem to lead to health. Long before he was ever confirmed for the head of Health and Human Services, there was a picture of RFK Jr., one of many, but there was a particular picture of RFK Jr. walking out of an airplane bathroom, barefoot. And when I saw it, I rebuked the picture. I was like, that will not be in my life. No, thank you. I'm not a doctor. I'm not even a scientist. But please wear some form of footwear into the airplane bathroom. You had shoes when you got on the plane. What happened? What happened between the seat and the bathroom that you were like, I gotta get these off? I'm too restrained. This man went swimming in a DC creek that's been known for like, I'm pretty sure decades, that place is nasty. It's so okay. It's so nasty that the place is nasty. It's so nasty that they have a sign saying, we nasty. Don't swim here, it's nasty. And sure, it's like this flowing creek and everything, but it's been known for a long time that sewage leaks into that creek. And he hopped in with the same feet that he walked out of that airplane bathroom with. Hopped in feet first, probably didn't even dip his toe in, was like, yeah. Swimming in the creek with his grandchildren, I'm pretty sure. And his dog. You're the head of health and human services. Do us the service of being a healthy human. Like this is so crazy that we're watching you. It would be like watching the Secretary of Defense play Russian roulette. It's like, so you're not gonna be here long then. Why would you do that? Don't do that. We want you to be alive. It's so frustrating. Man has a congressional hearing where they're asking him about his belief. They're asking him about things that he said since he's been confirmed and stuff. And this man basically says, don't take medical advice from me. There's a part of me that almost respects that. There's a part of me that almost respects that. Let me tell you why. Because I have been, an hourly worker several times in my life. I've had lots of odd jobs that pay by the hour. I've had lots of I won't call them corporate, but just established corporation jobs that pay, by the hour. And the problem with hourly work, whether you're talking about me or anyone I've ever interacted with, especially from a customer service perspective, the problem with hourly work is I'm not sure if we're meeting at the hour you care about this job. I may have caught you at a bad time at work. There's 4 types of hourly workers. There are the hourly workers who are they start off great, especially when we're talking customer service. You start off great. I was here. You start off great. You clock in, you got a good attitude, you're ready to go. Nothing's happened yet. And then, a few hours into dealing with the public, you have been beat down to a place of which you're not sure you can recover. And you're thinking about how this is Monday. So, my life, Then there's an hourly worker that really starts to perk up the last 2 hours of shift. They're almost home. They're almost out of here. They're smiling at you because they almost don't have to see you. We're almost through with each other. I'm so close. Let's bring it home strong. Then there's the hourly worker that genuinely loves their job. Then there's the hourly worker who hates their job so much that from clock in to clock out, they are here to make sure that you hate their job too. Right? And at different points in my life, I've been a couple of these different workers, you know? Sometimes I had a job where I could clock in, and then I was good attitude, good everything, and then people just, whether they're impatient or they're rude or they're nasty, they just beat you down, and you try to not let the last interaction affect the next interaction. But after a while, you just get to the point where you just got that face, that almost like 1,000-yard stare, and you're trying to do your job, but you just want to be like, and his leg was in his chest. Like And I've also been that person that's had that job that I'm like, oh, I can't wait to quit this job. I can't wait to get out of here. And you know what? The closest thing to quitting this job is clocking out of this job. I love clocking out so much. Sometimes I do it twice. I love clocking out. It's my favorite thing. Sometimes I actually worked a couple different jobs where back in the day you actually had the timesheet that did the and then, you know, shot the paper back up. And that was extra fun. I would watch it. I'd watch it in slow motion in my mind. I'd be like, yep, zip, zip, and zip, zip, and look at you marked and ready to go. I'm out of here. I'm leaving forever, just tonight, but forever. And then, admittedly, I did have jobs that I really loved. I really enjoyed clocking in and having a great time with my coworkers, and I enjoyed the job that I was doing. And even if it was like something to do with the public, you have your jerks once in a while, but for the most part, it was phenomenal. And I got great experiences out of it, and I'd clock out, I'd go home, I'd start again the next day. And then I had jobs where I was like, oh, okay. I don't want anybody to hate their life, but they're gonna know I hate mine. And there's something in the spirit of an hourly worker that's in the middle of doing their job that's like, oh, don't do what I do. That is what I heard at that hearing. Guys, don't follow my advice. I don't know. I be saying stuff. No? No, it's tough because it's hard to know that everyone has different levels of access and different levels of knowledge on how to keep ourselves healthy. And when you have things getting rolled back, like EPA regulations, FDA regulations, when you have people looking out less and less for the quality of drinking water, when you have people looking out less and less for what the next potential virus might be, you get yourself into some real trouble. And then they kick it back to us. They kick it back to us every time. They roll that thing back. They fire those people who, I'm not going to say every single person loved their job, but they roll things back to the point where now more people have more burden on them and less support to try to get us to where we need to be, at least on a basic level of health. And they're like, but it's up to you. You know, Dr. Oz came on and he was like, the best way to be healthy is to be healthy. And I was like, oh, do you have financial advice too? Because that's incredibly solid right there. The best way to not need these services is to not need these services. And it's like, okay, but you gotta remember, you're dealing with people who have varying levels of knowledge around what is and isn't healthy. My hometown has a bit of a meth problem. And a real conversation that I overheard at a bus stop was, no, they getting on to me because I'm smoking meth. But it's not like it's crystal meth. And not only me as a bystander, but the person they were talking to seemed to also be on meth. Said, what do you mean it's not crystal meth? And he goes, it's regular meth. And so then the other person on meth was like, no, it's all meth. Crystal's not the deluxe. It's not like Crystal Pepsi, you know what I mean? It's all generally meth. There's not a diet meth. Meth is the diet meth. I haven't eaten in some time. Because we are a huge country. And it's when you travel, you realize how big this country really is. And it's a lot of people to try to keep healthy, try to make healthy, you know? And so you want people of the absolute highest caliber, knowledge and character to be in positions that affect your health. And I just don't think RFK Jr. is that, you know? And there's all these things. There's plenty of things that you can watch and plenty of breakdowns people have done on his ideas and his theories about health and everything, and the things that he says that fall into the lane of conspiracy and the things that he says that fall into the lane of like homeopathic cures and stuff. And I'm just saying there's a certain way that you talk about people that lets me know what you think about people, how you feel about people, right? And while maybe from his perspective seeming compassionate or seeming understanding, the way I've heard him talk about people, especially people with autism, but people with any sort of different ability or way of life, and talk about it in terms that just seem so like stark and dismissive of the individual themselves in these broad brushstrokes, and then try to later come back and be like, oh, I was only talking about a quarter of, you know, as if that's better. You know, it makes me feel like this is not the individual that should be in that position. And that's not just because he swims in sewage. It's because like actual sewage is spilling out of his mouth every time he talks. You know? But yeah, maybe he can get the food additives out. I don't know. Like this. No, that's just, I don't know. That's what's so frustrating to me about RFK Jr. It's like half of what people applaud him for even saying we should do or that he's trying to do is just a bunch of stuff Michelle Obama was trying to do. Like, remember when Michelle Obama was like, how about a carrot? You remember that? Remember when Michelle Obama was like, just try an apple. And people were like, why do you hate America? No, it's super frustrating. You know, I get frustrated all the time. I can't imagine if you are, you know, a parent of a child with autism and you're listening to RFK Jr. talk, or if you're someone who's an actual health specialist and you're listening to RFK Jr. talk, or if you are the person who, in my opinion, deserves to be the angriest, Michelle Obama, listening to RFK Jr. talk. You know, she probably is pointing at the TV doing the DiCaprio meme. Like, that's what I just want you to try an apple. You know? That's my thing. That's really where we screwed up, you know? We do all this stuff when it comes to healthcare to make it inaccessible, right? So there's all these things that you have these premiums, you have these deductibles, you have all these different things that we understand are to keep us away from the healthcare. But then when it comes to the vaccines, when it comes to, you know, the treatments, I think we're too like eager to give it to people. We should actually hold it back and make it seem like, I don't know. I don't know. It's all the way over here. Do you really want to come over here and get it? Like, I don't know. No, because I had a conversation with a friend that enlightened me a little bit in kind of that route of thinking. He was a new parent, and he was like, look, I'm not a doctor. I recognize that I don't know the science or anything, but I'm seeing all this stuff on social and on TV about like giving my kids vaccines, but I'm also talking to my doctor who's telling me to give my kids vaccines, and he's like, I don't know what to do, and I'm really scared about what I should do, right? And I was like, okay, like I hear what you're saying. And then he said, I just feel horrible if I gave my kids something and it made them sick or sicker. And I was like, okay, I understand what you're saying. And then I asked him, I was like, let's just go back in time for a second and just pretend that the vaccine that the doctor's trying to give you just doesn't even exist. And your kid was sick. Would you want it then? Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that as some sort of got you. I'm saying that when we're sick, we go to the hospital. When you're sick or someone you love is sick, you want a doctor immediately. All this like just asking questions, going back and forth, trying to dunk on doctors, trying to dunk on experts, it's always done from a place of like actually being okay right now. When you're actually in a hospital bed, you're like, do whatever, I'm coughing up blood. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that to say that I don't have empathy for people who have questions or people who are unsure, people who are scared. That's where I think a lot of like humanity gets lost in the conversation. When some people are just like, I don't know what to do. I'm genuinely afraid of what I should do next because there's all this stuff out here. Just like with the food, just like with the treatments. For everything, there's a thing for it and against it. And it depends on when it comes up in your feed. It depends on how you search. It depends on how you type it into ChatGPT. And so it's hard to know, to really know, right? And so I try to not just have patience, but have empathy for people who are genuinely unsure. But you saw it. You saw it in COVID. People were yelling to the rooftops, I'm not wearing a mask, I'm not doing this. Look, live your life. But then at the third cough, they did go to the people who told them to do all that stuff. And I'm just saying, like, I don't know, if you trust them now, if you trust them when it's bad, why not trust them a little early? You know what I mean? And I just want to make it clear, like, my big gripe with RFK Jr. is that he doesn't have these debates and he doesn't have these knockdown, drag-out fights and arguments about the science and about where he's coming from and how he has his logic and how he came to these conclusions with experts who are well-versed in the science and in the medicine. It's always done in like a podcasty type of way. And now that people's real lives are at stake, I just think that's unacceptable. Like, I don't know how we're so willing to give this much. Like, I know we're not, but just, I don't know, when you look back and you compare it as a country, Michelle Obama was just like, just eat the apple. Like, it'll help.
You guys know and love him. One of the most prolific comedians working right now. Put your hands together for Josh Johnson!
It's funny how sometimes people like enter your life without you ever meeting them. Like you don't get to know them, but you hear stories about this person through the people that you know or a friend of a friend, but then they just keep coming up and you feel like they're in your life, even though you've never met them. Wouldn't know them on the street if you saw them, right? There was a guy like that for me named Marty. I never met Marty. wouldn't have been able to track him down if you gave me a 23andMe and a genealogy test or something like that. I knew Marty through stories, because Marty had an interesting life. This dude spent a bunch of time in France. He was American born, lived in France for a long time, learned French super fluently, and apparently he told one of his friends, this is how I heard the story, that he dreamed in French. Like he spoke English, obviously, and he lived in the States again, but his dreams would just be full of people speaking French at different points and stuff. And it came up because here in the US, he met someone and they fell in love, but she was French. So went all the way to France, didn't meet anybody. Came back here, met a French woman, right? And there was a day where Marty, he basically, in a nutshell, forgot his girlfriend's birthday. It was their first year together, so we're still like been dating some months, but hanging out all the time and everything. I said my birthday. You're supposed to remember. That's part of the relationship quiz. And it kept seeming like maybe there was a surprise waiting, or he was pretending to have forgotten or something, and then he went and took a nap. Yeah, not only did you forget my birthday, you napping in my face. And then I guess when she realized that he genuinely did forget, she woke him up, and she woke him up mad. And when she was mad, she'd go straight to French, right? Because she'd be so mad she wasn't putting it in English for him. And so he woke up to his girlfriend yelling at him in French. So he thought he was still dreaming. So wakes him up. Can't believe you forget my birthday. What's wrong with you? Are you out of your mind? You over here playing in my face all day? All in French. I'm paraphrasing. And then he was squinting, real tired, and was looking up at her and just wonders, I guess, to himself, am I having a dream right now? And so he casually, while she's yelling at him, puts his finger in her mouth. I don't know if you ever had somebody forget your birthday before, but you definitely have not had them put their finger in your mouth as you were letting them have it. And there was like felt like dozen funny stories like that about Marty. Marty was an interesting dude, and he just moved in different circles than me. Never met Marty or anything. But Marty got older, got married, had some kids and stuff. And then Marty got sick. And Marty had cancer. And, there were some treatments that they could try, but it wasn't looking good. And his insurance wasn't going to cover it, and he couldn't do it out of pocket. And Marty passed away. And it's crazy because one of the other things about Marty that people talked about was how he was like a good boss. It's sometimes hard to be a good boss because people don't like being bossed around. Like people don't enjoy someone telling them what to do, but somebody got to tell you what to do if we all work here. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't just show up to work and be like, you figure out whatever you feel like is. Nothing would get done. Like there do need to be bosses sometimes in certain situations. It's just how you are a boss, Like there are certain managers that I've had in my life that honestly I had the easy job and they still made it hell because they were hell to be around, There's nothing like having an easy job that is an easy job. I could do this in my sleep, but I gotta do it next to a jerk. That's the worst, those people got time to lean, got time to clean. And this is another thing I have to accept about bosses, I have to accept about managers. There are some jobs where genuinely, it's in the handbook. It's like part of the job. The job makes you kind of come off like, or maybe turn into a bastard. Do you know what I mean? Because there are policy handbooks of companies where if you got time to lean, you got time to clean is in the book. They just quoting. So there are some jobs where you got to be a monster to do them. And there are some jobs that make you a monster, you know? I was thinking about that when the shooting in New York happened. I know. Because for me, in case you didn't know, in case you somehow have not been on Earth, there was a shooting in New York. Basically, this dude walked up behind CEO of United Healthcare, and he shot him several times, and then he went off, right? But apparently he had been camped out there waiting. That dude walks past him. He goes, pop, 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 pop. And then he jumps on, apparently, a city bike, which is not advisable. And then he heads over to Central Park and disappeared into the night/day, because it was day. It was broad daylight, too. That's also what felt so insane about it. It happened during the day. You gotta understand, there's New York day things and New York night things. We usually keep the shootings after dark. And when it happened, it shook everything up. Everyone was obsessed. The news was obsessed. The news was obsessed when it happened. The news was like, finally, we have something to talk about that's not Trump. Oh, wow. What a day. So the news talked about it all day. The news talked about it nonstop. The news would even have people on to discuss it who clearly were just finding stuff out in the moment with us on the news. They would bring the expert on and then play the clip. And then the expert would watch the clip and be like, damn, it's like you were supposed to know, sir. That's why you're on the news. The news was absolutely obsessed, right? The news even did a thing that I've never seen before that I very much resented, because I'm just gonna be honest with you. This entire time, I'm just gonna be telling you how I feel. I'm not gonna tell you how to feel. I'm not gonna judge how anyone feels. I'm just talking about myself, right? When I saw it happen, when I saw that video footage that they played, when I saw that dude walk up and pull out a gun and point it at that CEO, I thought to myself, thank God those are white hands. Oh. When I saw those lily white hands, when I saw those pearly white hands, I thought to myself, what a white sight. What a beautiful white thing to happen that does not have anything to do with me, that should not blow back on me at all. What a white moment in America. And then in their obsession, continually, over and over again, describing what happened, going over what happened, the news did something. CBS this morning showed the clip. They showed this man walk up, pull out the gun, and they said on CBS in the morning, a light-skinned man. No. No, light skin. When has the news ever said light skin? What's next, CBS? Red bone? skin. I was horrified. No, you know, if it had been a black person, they would say black, because they love saying black. Anytime a black person does something, the news is like, this black was last seen at the scene of the crime. You know this black. If you've seen this particular black, call this number so you can report him for his blackety-black crime. Guys, light skin. The news was obsessed with it, top to bottom. You could not watch anything else. I'm sure stuff was happening everywhere in the world, but you wouldn't know it. Just kept circling this one block in Manhattan, and people were obsessed with it. Us were obsessed with it. It's all I heard people talking about. People who I know don't watch the news, people who I know don't really care about current events. Everybody was talking about it. Everybody was debating it on social, online. Everyone was talking about it. People were so obsessed that the backpack that the shooter was wearing sold out. Because in America, everything is an ad, including murder. People were so obsessed. You know, like those Timothy Chalamet lookalike contests they've been having in New York? A bunch of white people got together, because they knew he was white. A bunch of white people got together in the park and all dressed like the shooter and had a shooter lookalike contest. And it's been done in comedy before. I understand. It's a joke that's well worn. White people be like this. Black people be like this. But can I just say, as a black person, we have never, as black people, watched the news, seen the suspect, and then went outside specifically dressed as the suspect. We've never watched the morning, the 8 o'clock, the 10 o'clock, the midnight news and been like, oh, that's a good fit right there. Let me make sure I got it right. A red bandana. Okay, I need a red one. That's just how you can tell being white is a different experience, because these white people racially profiled themselves for fun. That's just having a time. So the news was obsessed, and people were obsessed, and CEOs were obsessed. CEOs were like, what? What happened? Oh my God. Oh my God, are you serious? And they didn't know each other? Kids, he just did that in broad daylight? To one of us? CEOs started making moves, man. CEOs of all the healthcare companies started taking down all of their profiles. All of their LinkedIns were just back to factory settings. And look, I need to be clear about something. I mean, you're gonna glean this off of me the entire time. I don't want anybody to die, right? I don't celebrate death in any way, right? But I will say, if you feel in the wake of this thing happening, like you have to scrub all mention of you, all knowledge of your existence off of the internet, then maybe, just maybe, take a look at how you do business, take a look at the person. Do you know what I mean? Because Because I've seen this thing before in a different way. Okay, so I had a buddy who I went to his apartment for the first time, and this dude, I understand taking precautions, because that's what they will say they were doing. They were like, we don't know the motive. We don't know why this person would do this thing. We don't know who they are. We don't know if they're going to come for one of us. So we try to protect ourselves, you know, we just take everything on. And that's what this guy was doing. I went to his house for the first time, went to his place, and he had 6 locks on his door. At 6 locks, something needs to change. At 6 locks, you either need to move or change your ways, all right? Because this dude had 6 locks. He was dealing a little bit of drugs and stuff, but I was like, 6 is, come on. What are you doing? It takes you a minute and a half to open the door. I can hear it. You hear chains, you hear all that stuff, you know? I was like, isn't this worse for you? You really worried somebody coming to get you? You got 6 locks. You sure you won't get killed trying to get in? But that happened, and the news was having trouble thinking of a motive. The news, they were like, why? Why would anyone? Why? Who could it be? You know, police were having trouble coming up with a motive when they went on the news. They were like, we have no idea why this individual would do something like this. CEOs could not think of a motive. They were like, but we're us. I thought everybody loved us. Everybody wants to be us. Why would somebody come after us, right? You see it on the news. And this is also, I'm not gonna lie, this is how you can tell the news is owned by billionaires. Because the news was like this devastating, terrifying, harrowing attack in New York. And I'm not saying, look, a murder did take place. I'm not saying that it couldn't have been listed as those things. I'm just saying you're the news. Like, you are the mainstream media. You play horrific stuff all the time. You're the same news that when those pages were going off on those people in the Middle East exploding, you were like, check this out. Isn't that wild? The moment 1,000 pages went off and killed a bunch of people. You know what I mean? That same news is like, we still don't know who or why or what or how. No. Police couldn't think of a motive. CEOs couldn't think of a motive. CEOs of other healthcare companies couldn't seem to think of a motive. This thing happened the same week as one of the main insurance providers was saying out loud with their full chest, we gonna stop doing anesthesia if you take too long. You better. Which, by the way, is not up to the patient. That's also one of the most insane things about that new policy they were going to try out. I've never had to administer anesthesia to myself. That's just heroin. Yeah, if your surgery takes too long, it's not like they're there, by the way. It's not like they have to wait on you in the waiting room or something. If your surgery takes too long, we're going to charge extra to put you back under. If your surgery takes too long, we might not cover more anesthesia. What? In what world did we think you could pay for health insurance and then you wake up during, who knows, whatever serious surgery you're having, and then your doctor has to be like, hey, do you have like $650? Because if not, I know you're a little groggy, but can you understand me right now? I know you're literally open, but can you understand what I'm saying? If you don't have it, that's okay. I got a stick. We can Civil War this right now. The stick is $20 though, so it's... Couldn't think of a motive, you know? And the CEOs as well, when you look at this guy, you look at this dude, I don't think anyone was ready. I don't think the news was ready. I don't think the police were ready. I don't think the rich were ready for how on the shooter's side the public was. Do you know what I mean? Like how absolutely, unequivocally on his side. Immediate. I didn't know it had happened and there were already jokes. Do you know what I mean? Immediately. You know, the people, I'm not gonna say as a whole, because I'm not gonna speak for everybody, but for the most part, were on the shooter's side. They don't know the motive. They don't know why he did this thing, but they were glad that it happened. And so out of it, you get these CEOs, you get these rich people going on the news and really campaigning, being like, look, the CEO, this man was a father, this man was a husband, this man, and they really appealed to the humanity of this CEO. And there were people who heard that appeal, and they said, yeah, no, I know he was a person, so was my cousin. So was my brother, so was my sister, so was my friend. You know what I mean? This man had children. He leaves children behind. This is a senseless death. It did not have to happen. And it's like, yeah, no, I know about I know about avoidable deaths. You know? I'm a customer. I know people who have died these avoidable deaths because it took too long to get their medicine, took too long to get the treatment. Maybe it wasn't covered. Maybe they're on the phone forever. This man was a father. He was a husband. Okay, so was Marty. You know what I mean? And I think the thing that people are wrestling with, the thing that we're all trying to contend with in how we feel about this thing, because people want to feel like good people. We know that murder is wrong. We know that death is a tragedy, right? Because to me, personally, when I look at any death, when I look at any killing in that way, I personally look at it as a loss and a tragedy, because as long as someone is alive, there's potential. There's potential to turn things around. There's potential to change. And then if you lose that potential, then your story gets cut short, and maybe things would have turned around. I'm not saying that they would have, but the thing that we're all wrestling with is that a murder did happen. Someone killed someone in cold blood. They just didn't kill an innocent man. Do you know what I mean? That's also what feels so conflicting about it. Like, a killer killed a killer. This dude was the CEO. A lot of people died under his watch, through his policy, through what United Health does. You know? There are a lot of people that are gone, and when you can see an act happen in real time, it's very easy to look at it, be shocked by it, and call it murder. When you can spread all of the culpability, when you can spread all of the actions across thousands of individuals and a whole system, now somehow it's nobody's fault. You know? And like, you look at someone like Brian Thompson, that CEO, that dude was, to himself probably, I'm assuming, just good at his job. It's his job to make the company money. I don't know what CEO, outside of maybe like a gun manufacturer, wakes up and wants people to die. Like, I don't know. I don't know what CEO wakes up. These CEOs, they work 80-hour weeks, and they don't see their families and everything, but they do it because of their obsession to succeed and to build up the company, to make the company successful, to give back to the shareholders, all the reasons they come up with. And if some people die along the way, then that sort of is what it is, right? But this dude, make no mistake, he was a killer. He was such a good killer that the company was like, damn, Brian. Damn, you cold-blooded. We need to make you CEO. Wow, you don't care. You don't care at all. Women, kids, you get them all. Wow, Brian. He got promoted the way a gang member becomes a leader, you know? You're the coldest one out here. You know? It's tough. It's really tough. It's hard. It's also hard because when you talk about it, or whenever you're feeling what you're feeling, you don't want to. We're all human, but you don't want to lose your humanity. You know, like you don't want to get so spiteful that you lose some of yourself. You know, and so this dude, they're looking for him, and it's hard because the people are on his side. There's literally people dressing up as him, right? And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like some of the cops were even on his side because the cops were on a manhunt for him in Central Park, and they weren't looking hard. Dude, they weren't. Like, did you, if you saw the news and you saw them in Central Park, I've never seen a more lackadaisical hunt in my life. There were cops in Central Park. This is being shot. They see the camera and they know what's going on the news, and they were still like, he ain't in this bush. Where else is there to look? No. No. It's hard, you know? And it's also difficult because you want to have empathy for everybody if possible. You want to see every angle if possible. But this one is tough in a way because of what Brian was. Just a representative, by the way. That dude just is one of the dudes. Nothing changed. He's one of the dudes. And he can be one of the dudes because the system's already there. So it's not as if doing anything to him does anything to the whole, right? I mean, I will say, I do think they rolled back that anesthesia thing. That did happen. Maybe they'll go through it with it later, but for the time being, it seemed like they were like, ooh, okay. You know? But he's allowed to be where he is, how he is, because of the system at play. A system, by the way, who didn't care about Brian either. Let's be honest about that. You know? Because that man was headed to a meeting when he was murdered. And investors still had the meeting. That's how it works. They were getting notifications on their phone that Brian was outside, and they were like, ugh, so the minutes. How's next quarter looking? I mean, that's why it's not worth it. You know? When you put like that much profit over the person, you are also lost in that thing, right? And I think that's a harrowing thing. I think for CEOs, that was like a terrifying moment because it was the first time that they saw that we see them the way they see us. Do you know what I mean? That's gotta be scary. Because for them, make no mistake, for them, we're not clients, we're not consumers, we're not customers, we're not even users. None of the names that they put in their reports, none of the things that they say to their shareholders, we're numbers. We're an account number, we're this thing. Which is why when we go away, when we disappear, when we die, it doesn't really mean anything to them. Because they never really saw us. And then the response to this shooter, this like overwhelming positive response on social, I'm not saying it was everybody, but a lot of people, it was kind of this wake-up call that we don't see them as people either. Which is, that's scary. That's a scary place to be in, you know? Because when you would see it on the news and the news described it, let's not mince words. It was a murder. The man was murdered. You know what I mean? And the news would describe it as if it was the singular event in history. This horrific crime that took place in the streets of New York in broad daylight, this harrowing attack. And I'm not saying that it wasn't. I'm just saying that the woman in the video with her coffee that got out of the way didn't spill. It was one of the most New York things I've ever seen. For someone to get shot and then a bystander be like, he ain't shooting at me. So then they catch the shooter, right? And when they caught the shooter, I was at a coffee shop. And everyone got a notification on their phone. We weren't all talking to each other. Just you could see everybody was either already on their phone or pulling their phone, but I heard beeps. I heard all the little notification noises. And then in this coffee shop, I'm not even kidding, there was a collective, "Aw." Oh, that's the noise you make if the baby hippo Mudang dies. That was wild. Oh, yeah, they caught him in a McDonald's. And there was footage of him on the news later in that McDonald's eating a hash brown. And when I saw that, I was like, wait, he's eating a hash brown at McDonald's. He's eating McDonald's hash brown. So it had to be before 10:30. He's eating a McDonald's hash brown, which means somebody woke up early to snitch. Damn, barely awake at 9 o'clock. I don't know. Blinking. Oh, that must be him. Let me make the call. You know? And what's even crazier about that is apparently, at least as of the time I am talking to you, it looks like that McDonald's worker that called him is not going to get the reward money. Which, wow. Is not going to get the reward money. And people were looking it up. The person was like, why wouldn't I get the reward money? Everything. Apparently, what they were told and what the internet says is like, actually, the process of collecting reward money for turning someone in is very complicated because there's an amount that has to be approved by two different bodies, and one body approved the $10,000, but when it got up to like 50, 60, it wasn't approved by both bodies. So then when they turned him in, they may not get anything at all, actually, because there's so much confusion around how much to give them or if it's the full amount. And I'm like, damn, that's kind of wild to me, because there was no confusion when they called and they were like, "Nigga here." So y'all coming, or? That was very straightforward. There weren't any other things you needed to check before you came and picked them up, you know? That's why they in my opinion, they did it wrong, you know? If you're gonna call and you're gonna tell people that he's here, don't call the police right away. Get your money up. Call Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call Blue Cross Blue Shield and be like, "Hey, I know you don't know me, but I think I might have eyes on your boy. And we don't know what he gonna do next, so what are you thinking, 50, 60? I'm just wondering how much he's worth to you, you know what I mean? Because I could make some other calls if you want. I can call a couple different people. There are about 6 providers. Y'all got a real monopoly going on, so. Okay, because he might be here, he might not. Hurry up. It looked like he leaving. I always thought it was very straightforward. You know, there's a reward out for a fugitive, and then you turn in the fugitive and you get the reward. That's how it happens in all the Westerns. You know what I mean? But then they're like, "Oh no, actually, I'm the FBI and the local police have to decide on an amount, and then there's like an arbitration process and everything." It's just so funny that like this whole thing happened, and then them trying to get their money just sounds like an insurance claim. You know? So then they come and they catch the dude, and he has everything with him. He's got his backpack with him, gun in his backpack, 4 fake IDs and everything. And It's kind of wild because so many people, when the attack first happened, thought this dude must be an assassin. How do you get out of New York? This man was in Manhattan. He did a shooting, and now no one knows where to find him. In New York, a police state with surveillance everywhere. The man was on an island. And he got off, and they couldn't find him. He must be a genius. And then you find him at 10:02 in McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, with hash brown crumbs all over his face. And then people went from calling him a genius, like, oh, he's so dumb. He's the dumbest man that's ever lived. Look, I think all this proves is one thing. When you read history and you look back, some of these people, because there have been individuals out there saying, you say he's a killer, I say he's a freedom fighter. There are some people that think he's a revolutionary and everything. Let's just say this. This is proof that even when you read a history book, revolutionaries were just sort of figuring it out as they went. You know what I mean? I'm sure Che Guevara had his days where he was like, y'all, I don't know. Whatever y'all want to do, I guess. They see the fake IDs, they question them, they bring them in and everything. And his name is Luigi Mangione. Or Mangione, or Mangione. There's so many different ways I've heard his name pronounced that I'm not positive the name he going by wasn't just one of those fake IDs. Like, that's the most cartoonish name I've heard in years. Luigi Mangione. It sounds like you making fun of an Italian person. Luigi already wild. He don't even go by Luigi. And they put his picture all over the news and everything, and it turns out that he is very good looking. Like, just upsettingly good looking. Almost objectively, in a way. Like, crazy. Everything in its right place and everything's good. Strong eyebrows with a big smile and everything, and just all the pictures. Because you know when the news catch you, when the police catch you, they try to put up some. Depending on who you are, this usually happens to black people, but it happens to white people once in a while too, where they try to find the craziest picture they can of you. And I think they tried, but it was tough work because he is a good-looking individual. Every picture looked good. He would just be with model rockets, looking like a model. Like it was crazy. They take his mug shot, and the mug shot looked like a cologne ad. Like, that's... That was upsetting to me as a fellow man. I was like, y'all gotta get one bad pic, please. One bad picture? He was doing everything in that mug shot but biting his lip. Like, you've seen the mug shot. My man was... Mugshot's supposed to be simple. Mugshot's supposed to be your face and your profile. Your face and your profile. Your height. It's supposed to be very quick and easy. You know? This man was so good looking, they took extra mugshots. There's some that are like a little lower than him where he looking down. Like... There's some up high where he just like, you can tell, even the mugshot photographer was like, now do it like you're a bad boy. They tried so hard to get a bad picture of him that they took stills from video. They tried to take stills from video because that usually gets people. You take a still from a video and somebody was blinking weird. Okay, normally people blink with both eyes at the same time. Every once in a while, like let's say you mid-yawn or something, or you're chewing, one eye might close before the other eye. And if you catch me in this moment, I look a little off, something going on with me. And now if you tell people I killed a bunch of people, you're like, I can see it. I can see it on... That's what the other eye is hiding, is secrets. That's why it's closed like that. Okay. This man was being led to the jailhouse through what looked like a tunnel, and he getting pushed by police through a tunnel, and he's screaming, and they took stills from that, and those still looked good. Who looks good screaming? This man's getting pushed through the tunnel, yelling back at the media, going, ah, like just... I'll show you right now. What about that was sexy? And people already thirst trapping me. We thought Ted Bundy got letters. It was insane. It was very aggravating. And then every picture looked good to the point where editors and media consultants and stuff like that were like, stop putting pictures out of him. That's how good he looked. They were like, stop. You botched it. Don't put out another picture. And you could tell that the newspapers were getting aggravated because these newspapers and these media companies are owned by billionaires who are terrified right now of what's happening. And they see the public lauding this dude as a hero, and they're trying to get at least something. The cops literally had to tase this dude so he pissed himself so he took one bad photo. But even in that one, you're like, aw. I just know that there was somebody at a newspaper flipping out going, y'all can't do your job? Y'all can't take one bad photo of this man? Everything gotta be in focus? You can't even make it blurry? But I'm not gonna lie, when they caught that dude, I felt, everything started to come back up top, like surface level again, where I felt bad for a lot of different people, you know? I did feel bad for Brian Thompson's kids, because you don't pick who your daddy is, you know? And to a certain degree, I even felt bad for the shooter, because I'm like, you're 26, and you have money, something happened. Something happened. You're smart. You have your whole life ahead of you with all of this opportunity. You disappeared for some time, and now you do something happened, you know? But I felt especially bad, like really, really bad for women. Because finally there was a good-looking, rich, well-read man who has nothing to do with Hollywood, but he does murder some. So, I mean, I could just see somebody trying to defend him. Just women defend their men too hard sometimes. Just like, he just did one. It was just one murder, okay? He can't even murder a little, like. You judging me because my man your man cheat, all right? How about that? Felt bad for a lot of people when it happened, when it became like surface level real again. It wasn't just this like spy crime mystery thing. It was like back down to earth with real people. I also feel very bad for anybody else who got shot that day. It's New York. A lot of people get shot in New York every day. Imagine you get shot in New York. Ow, they got me, right? And you holding it. And let's say you're an artist. So you actually do your own police sketch of your shooter. And then you hobble your way over to the police station and you put it in front, like, look, that's exactly what he looked like. I had a lot of time to draw it. Can you go looking? And then the police look at you and be like, sorry, this other thing's sort of an all hands on deck. You know? But yeah, it's tough. It's tough because, you know, there was even a lot of talk about which CEOs in this whole thing were safe. Do you know what I mean? Because like healthcare CEOs were on high alert, but I'm not gonna lie, you know, Luigi, he went to Starbucks and then he did that murder and then he hopped on a city bike and he left New York and everything. If you the CEO of Starbucks, you gotta be like, oh, thank goodness. You know, Starbucks does stuff too. Starbucks, they love that labor. They love that cheap labor. So for you to go to Starbucks before you take out a CEO, I'm not gonna lie, you might as well shot that man with an iPhone. Like, what are you doing? And then he gets found at a McDonald's. I'm sure the CEO of McDonald's is like, oh, thank God, okay. I was always good, yes. You know. The CEOs were freaking out, you know, across the board. Who would have thought? Who would have thought CEOs were family? Do you know what I mean? Like, and let's be clear about something. Don't mistake the different CEOs that commented on this, the ones that stayed scared, the ones that appealed to a different way of doing things while they keep doing everything the same way. Don't mistake their self-preservation for empathy. Right? Because those CEOs, they know, you know? And it's not even as if people hated people because they were rich. They hated a system that destroyed people's lives, you know? Because Luigi is rich. Luigi is so rich. When I found out how rich he was, that's so rich. The dude's family owns 2 country clubs. Look. Why do you think I came? This dude's family owns 2 country clubs. This is just me outside looking in. I didn't even know you could own a country club. I thought it was owned by the country. I had no idea, because usually people don't put their name on the country club they own. It's not like it's Rick's Country Club. Like, that's crazy that Luigi's family had more money than the CEO, but then the CEO comes from like humble beginnings and has more money than Luigi does personally. And so it became this whole thing where some people started turning on Luigi and then rooting for the CEO. It was odd, because people got too wrapped up in the money. But for me, it's not the money specifically. It wasn't about who's rich and who has more money than who. It was about a system that destroys people's lives, you know? It was about the fact that some jobs make you a monster and there are some jobs you have to be a monster to do. You know what I mean? And so for me, I don't even care that Luigi is rich, because the people, right? The people that love that it happened, the people that didn't care that it happened, the people that just wanted some taste of revenge for how healthcare and health insurance has destroyed their life. We use healthcare and health insurance interchangeably, but I think you know what I mean, how these insurance companies take the good work of doctors, the good work of nurses, and they make it so it's inaccessible, you know? And I think that the CEOs were scared, but let's be honest, not all CEOs were scared. I'm pretty sure the CEO of Ben & Jerry slept pretty good this entire time. Yeah, like, nobody was calling for all the CEOs. Nobody wanted to get Ben or Jerry. We were both very happy with those individuals. You know? You also have a year where whistleblowers who try to stand up to power and a system, not just like one person, right? Because that's what I think a lot of CEOs don't understand, and why a lot of news media didn't understand about how the people feel, is that there were people who tried to do things the right way. They whistle blew, hey, this company is doing this thing. It's either putting your life in danger or it's stealing from you. And then all of a sudden, 2024 seemed to be the year of whistleblowers turning up dead. You know what I mean? Look at the Boeing whistleblower. That dude turns up dead when he's supposed to testify in the thing he already risked his life to do, and you're telling me he just mysteriously died in the parking lot of his hotel room that nobody knew he was staying at? Come on now. Come on. And then my man is blowing the whistle on a bunch of stuff we already know. He's like, the door gonna fly off. We heard. And then another whistleblower dies, and another whistleblower dies. And then just today, the whistleblower that blew the whistle on OpenAI was found dead in his apartment. And so, yeah, I think that people, as in individuals just generally in the world, are scared. They're scared of what happens when you stand up to power. They're scared of what happens when you try to do what seems like the right thing, you know? And these powerful people step in and we don't know, but it looks pretty obvious what happens. And I think for me, at least to me, people, all of us, are like mirrors of each other. And right now, the mirror's like shattered a little bit. If you put up two mirrors next to each other, you make an infinite image, right? In both directions. But if you crack just one of the mirrors, you've cracked the whole infinite image, you know? And so the way that they see us, not as people, not as people who they should take care of because we are their customers, we are their consumers. We gave them money in good faith for insurance, for our health, and then you deny when I need something. I've been paying all this money. If I had just saved the money and put it aside, I might have enough myself. And now you're standing in the way of me and my health, and you don't think that there's going to be any blowback with that? You don't think anything is going to happen next? That's wild. We're in a time where you see like Josh Shapiro come up and be like, this guy was not a hero. Let me be clear. Sure, fair enough. I'm with you. All right. But you have to pass legislation. You have to get it through. And don't let a lobbyist sway you, and don't let a lobbyist sway your colleagues. You have to do something then. Because I cannot stress enough how scary it is, how much of an inevitability we're heading to. You know what I mean? If you look at history alone, all by itself, is a playbook for some people, is a cautionary tale for other people. I think a lot of the answer to what we're facing is in history. It's in Versailles. And when you read the history of Versailles, you read the history of French Revolution, it's very apparent that, you know, whether it's police, whether it's an army, guards, whatever it is, they protect the powerful, not the people. You know, and the only reason that the people won in the French Revolution, in my opinion, is because the army's guns took like a Seinfeld episode to reload. Like, say, yeah, you can probably get them up out of there real quick. Like you go to, I went to Versailles. I went there and it is beautiful. It's a testament. It's a monument to like what people can accomplish. But it's all one man's wealth. You know, it's all for the king. But the gardens are beautiful. Inside is beautiful. The mirrors, everything. It's decadent. It's when I walked in, I was like, wow, I get how this can happen. I get how you could have everything in the world and you want to make something like this and it's still not enough. You want to add to it. You want to build more, build better. You see the king's bedroom. You see where Marie Antoinette, her, it's like you see so much. And then you walk through the thing and you also are like, oh yeah, I can also see how if you were hungry enough and you broke in here and you saw what they did, you would probably grab everybody. It doesn't make it right, but France was headed towards an inevitability. You know what I mean? And if you get on TV and you say, this is wrong, this is absolutely wrong, okay, I agree with you. But what are you gonna do now? What's the plan? Like, politicians cannot afford to do nothing. CEOs cannot afford to do nothing. And the people cannot afford to do nothing. And if the last part scares you, you might be on the wrong side of history, you know? But that's a tough thing too, because now there's a lot of people saying like, all right, you got him, but good luck finding a jury. Good luck finding a jury that wasn't hurt by Brian Thompson. Yeah, that's a tough one. Because now, to me, all Luigi has to do is show up in court and be like, y'all, I tried to call and tell him I was crazy, but they kept me on hold for so long. They kept me on hold for so long, I figured maybe I'll just go talk to him personally.
When I